Well, hello there, wrestling fans. Long time no see. This is John Hoppy. You're listening to the Wrestling Fans Insight, courtesy of the fans of pro wrestling. William, it's been a while.
What do you mean? I'm a new host.
You're the new guy?
I'm a new guy.
Nice. About time someone came new to this platform.
No, it's kind of nice to be up in a little bit warmer temperature right now. It's been kind of more of a relaxing weekend for me.
Well, yeah, our weather's been kind of the shits, almost like the other outer parts of the country.
Yeah, it just kind of shifted right.
Yeah, we had off and on snowstorms, not quite like what a lot of the East Coast has been getting lately, but we got our fair share. It's just been a little miserable on all of us. But anyhow, other than that, this is our first episode back since the Jericho cruise.
Yep.
And sorry for no episode last week. I was still feeling the waves, which kind of sucked. So, but other than that, we had a great old time. And now we come back and why don't you say we kind of catch up a little bit before we get into the main part of our show today? Since we were gone, kind of wanted to get your thoughts on WWE's Royal Rumble results. For those obviously who must have been kept in the closet and weren't paying attention, obviously not a spoiler now, but we had Charlotte Flair end up taking the women's Royal Rumble. Your thoughts?
That's one we really expected to happen, so that wasn't that big of a surprise to me. I think more of the shocker was actually the men's Rumble.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as Charlotte Flair winning, like I said, I think you and I, as long as most other smart wrestling fans know, I mean, that was pretty much going to be a given. Charlotte Flair becoming the first ever two-time women's Rumble champion. But yeah, the men's, as I mentioned in previous episodes before we went out on the cruise, and like I was telling our other co-host Brian Ballard, this was kind of one of the more unpredictable Royal Rumbles as far as the men go in quite some time. I was not expecting Jey Uso to win.
No, I don't know if anybody really expected it up until that point where Cena came out, and he's touting about one more time.
And to be honest, I don't think I had Cena winning either.
No,
I am in the final three, but yeah, when I saw CM Punk eliminate Roman and Seth, I'm like, oh, this is going to get interesting. And then Logan Paul eliminates CM Punk. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, that's just gonna be a hot feud.
So my next question is, before we get too far, do you think maybe we see Logan Paul and CM Punk at WrestleMania?
It would be a chance for him to get up in there in WrestleMania still and to showcase a couple of good talents, especially with the way they both perform. We know they both have what it takes. And I wouldn't be opposed to watching that match.
Yeah, it's kind of a interesting way they're going to be setting up here. I don't want to rush to judgment because, I could be getting this wrong, but that's the way I kind of read the way this might end up going, but who knows? I don't think we're going to get a real clear picture until the Elimination Chamber happens. But yeah, I'm actually glad they went with something very unpredictable with Jey Uso winning. I just really hope this time they get him to go over Gunther.
If they do it, then they need to do it without it being a short run afterwards.
Right.
Flat out.
Yeah, don't give him this transitional champion run. If you're going to go with it, go with him for a little bit on this.
If you're gonna put the spotlight on him, put it on him.
Yeah, give him a reign that's gonna mean something and help keep that prestige going on the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
I know as much as the IWC's been kind of bitching and moaning about the way WWE books their champions, one thing I will give them is at least they're giving them long title reigns. Yeah, they may not be defending them as much, but
what's the point if you only look at it from a new fan's perspective? You come in, you see somebody get a championship, and then a couple of weeks, a month later, it's gone. And what's really going to stick in their head about that?
It it really well, it'll stick in their head when it comes to the IWC fights.
Yeah,
But uh
but
yeah,
as a brand new fan,
right.
you're like,
I mean,
what was that?
you're going to this you're going to this I guess stretch of where you're pushing main event Jey Uso, push him as a main event. Don't have him be as friend Stampede on the X app there, as our friend Stampede calls him, the the
The walking,
catchphrase, the
yes,
walking catchphrase. God, I remember catchphrase. I couldn't remember the first part, but
just helping you out a bit.
thank you. Uh, but yeah, as far as Cody retaining over Kevin Owens, I thought that was a pretty good match overall, especially with kind of the post setup, looking like we're going to be having Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. We'll talk about that a little later for the Elimination Chamber. And we also had the 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. DIY retains thanks to shenanigans from the Street Profits, buttheads. they end up helping DIY retain those championships, and I think it's a clear picture of what we're probably going to be seeing come Mania.
I do like the way they moved with that though, because it wasn't we just come out and screwed one team.
Right.
No, they came out and made it clear they screwed both.
Yeah, they're kind of the WWE's version of the Hurt Syndicate in some ways. And I kind of wonder if they're doing that on purpose because of the Hurt Syndicate going to AEW and winning those tag team championships right off the bat.
I mean, we saw that coming, that there was no chance that was not going to happen a little soon, as you mentioned.
But do you feel like that's the whole reason why they're going this route with the Street Profits now?
I don't think so. I think it's just been a minute since they've been in the spotlight, and then maybe it's time for them to do a reset.
Okay.
Maybe have somebody solid in there for a little while.
Well, I do like their aggression. I mean, like you mentioned, they're not just attacking one team, they're attacking all the teams.
Yep.
So they're definitely making the statement, and I hope it pays off at the end for these guys because they've earned their spot to win those championships. It's just now getting them booked to that proper spot.
Yeah.
And I think WrestleMania would be the better spot as long as they can keep the interest going. But yeah, it was a fun little event. We were able to catch the Royal Rumble as we were flying back home from Miami. So,
you did. I waited till I got home.
well, sorry. Me and Devin caught up. How about that?
Yeah.
But also AEW had a nice little event themselves. The build up to Brisbane there for the AEW Grand Slam. A lot of people bitching, moaning like usual. It was supposed to be a pay-per-view. Well, no, Grand Slam was never a pay-per-view. It was actually a TV event. So I know they edited a tweet, but you got to get over that because it was never a pay-per-view to begin with and probably will not be a pay-per-view going in the future. So, but long story short, I thought they did a really great job. One of the things another thing that the internet bitching about, the ring was smaller than usual. It was an 18 by 18 ring.
Okay. Well, the ring steps were different too. It was a little tiny stool. Get over it.
Yeah, if they only watched wrestling back in the 70s and 80s, that was pretty much how they got in the ring. Sorry, folks. It just kills me. But a lot of people going, well, it's a multi-billion-dollar company. Well, multi-billion-dollar company or not, sorry, folks. As a business owner, you look at different things, and to me, it's just not fiscally responsible to really ship all your ring and crap out there. I know many people will always say, well, it's the safety of the wrestlers, blah, blah, blah. Well, many of the wrestlers didn't have a problem. I know a lot of people are trying to use Buddy Matthews' little roll of the ankle there is one of the excuses, and
that's a negative. He's had a history.
Well, he did land on it wrong,
He did, but he's had a
but
history of injuries.
but it wasn't due to the ring.
No.
And he actually made a joke on X that everybody took serious. It was the size of the ring, and it's like, good lord, buddy, let's not give them any more fuel to add here to their stupid little talks here. But anyhow,
Alright.
I thought overall Grand Slam, great event. I thought Buddy Matthews held his own despite the quick injury beforehand with Okada.
He did really good. They all did really good. I'm really happy that Buddy Matthews didn't have a more serious issue that happened because I can't stand it every time he's away for a while.
Yeah. I don't think he'll be out too long.
I'm guessing 2-3 weeks.
But what was your thoughts on the finish of the Tony Storm and Mariah May, with Tony Storm rolling her up for the victory, regaining the AEW Women's World Championship?
You sure you want to hear that?
Well, I know the internet buzzed about it a bit too on that one.
I get the continuation of them continuing that story. And so it would make sense in a way to have a roll up victory. But at the same time, you're going for her fourth reign. It's supposed to be a historic thing. I think a more definitive finish probably would have played better.
Well, the only problem though is
And then the follow up on Collision, I don't even want to talk about.
the only problem with that though, this is one I've kind of had to go out on the limb. I know, yeah, I understand why people were upset that they didn't go with finishers, but they both each hit their signature and finisher. They even hit their opponent's finisher on each other, and it didn't put them away. And Wrestling 101 is eventually the match is going to end. It's got to end somehow.
Mhm.
Even a roll up every once in a while, a backslide, a hook, you know, you'll catch them off guard and get the pin. I mean, it's not uncommon to have that every once in a while. I mean,
I think I would have gone with a Luther win.
a Luther win,
Yeah.
have Luther like knock Mariah May out or what?
Yeah, something like that.
No, but no, I mean the thing of it is every once in a while you'll have a finish where it's not a finish or a signature move that ends the match, and I don't think it hurt the match. Again, they're going to have their next match at Revolution. Uh, But you go back in history and look at some matches where it ended in a roll up, like Bret Hart and Diesel, for example. At a Survivor Series, Bret Hart ends up winning the championship from Diesel. I mean, there's been a time where Ric Flair won the WCW World Heavyweight Championship on Vader with a roll up.
Yep.
And, it's just, there's times when you realize they've thrown everything at each other, but something's got to end it, and that's what's going to happen. Is even if it's just a roll up or just a quick small package, anything, something's got to end the match. And I don't think they really did anything wrong on it, and I thought it was excellent. Do you have any more thoughts as far as how AEW had their Grand Slam event?
No, not really. It was an enjoyable show. I got through it finally.
Finally.
Yeah. Yeah, that didn't work out so well for me. I fell asleep, tried to go back to watch it, couldn't find it. Wasn't available on Max for me until Wednesday.
And that's weird because I wonder how you're signed up with Max, because mine is available right away after it goes off live.
I signed up with Max a long time ago, just its app itself.
Okay.
I don't get it through any kind of bundle.
Weird.
No, I don't know, but I also recorded it on TBS on DirecTV, and instead I got the All-Star Slam Dunk contest.
No, nice.
Which that got deleted real quick.
So you helped contributed to the declining viewership of the All-Star game.
I'm going to call them the cause of the decline. I'd rather see a competition, not a showboat.
No, I agree with you. Well, without any further ado, let's just kind of go into a few things. I know I'm kind of going all over the place here with the show today, Sorry, being our first day back, but I actually want to start off by throwing out some bones for our fellow teammates. Um, Again, if you ever go check them out on Mondays and Wednesdays, usually, I know last week Carlos changed it up a little bit. He had, I believe, issues with the work schedule. But please feel free to go check out our following team members, Carlos and Stampede. They host Mondays and Wednesdays, like I said, usually after Raw and Dynamite. Be sure to go follow them on X at C to the LOS 77 or at David ROBER 7174. They do a very good job letting everybody know ahead of time when they're going to host their spaces. And it does get a little chaotic, but all in all, it is very fun in wrestling conversations. And also, we do have a community on our X platform. If you go check out our main account, the Fans of Pro Wrestling Network at FOPW Network, you'll see that we have a community in the spotlight there. But also feel free to talk with Carlos, myself, Stampede, or even Brian Ballard. We'll get you in there if you're having any kind of issues joining. We also have a group chat for the Fans of Pro Wrestling. Just be sure to get with me, Carlos, Brian, or Stampede as well on that one. And also follow all of us on X. You can follow me, WFI Pod, William.
At William Hoppy 8.
And you can follow our teammate Brian Ballard at the Brian Adkins. And also, again, the Fans of Pro Wrestling Network at FOPW Network. Also, be sure to check out our webpage, www.thefansofprowrestling.com. You can also be catching us live right there, right now at the moment, as well as YouTube and Twitch. And speaking of YouTube, you can find us there at Wrestling Fans Insight. Also, be sure to check out Brian Ballard's Tap Out Talk on YouTube at Tap Out Talk. We're also on Twitch at the Fans of Pro Wrestling. And William, without any further ado, shall we go ahead and get right into the Elimination Chamber?
Yes.
So we obviously saw quite the promo there on Friday Night SmackDown, where it seemed like we kind of got a little side shifted there between The Rock and Cody Rhodes, because Cody felt The Rock was trying to come after his championship, but that was not the case. It was after Cody's soul. So the question is, here at the Royal Rumble, will Cody Rhodes agree to be The Rock's champion?
The Royal Rumble.
Or sorry, the Elimination Chamber.
Oh, say
I'm still got the Royal Rumble on my mind. But
you're way ahead of yourself.
I know. Well, no, I'm way behind myself.
Well, no, any future proclivities would be,
But let's get your thoughts on this.
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of fast forwarded it after a while because it was just so weird.
And this was actually this SmackDown was actually one of the most complained about SmackDowns in quite some time.
It just struck me as so odd.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't watch it live. Fortunately, I don't have USA with any of the streaming services I have. So, but what I could tell you is I'm not sure this is really making any sense. And honestly, a lot of people go, well, yeah, it's making sense because it's leading up to a Cody heel turn. Okay, again, that's not making any sense.
No.
Would that make sense for you to see Cody make that heel turn to become corporate champion?
No, not at all. I mean, we're not doing Seth Rollins version 2.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, I mean, I think it was just a little weird because I think even the fans had a hard time trying to, even in attendance, were having a struggle with it. And I can't even believe I'm going to bring up his name, even JD from New York, who's been pretty much riding the WWE train lately. He's even griping him on what a crap segment it is, and after his latest on being such a anti AEW guy, that's pretty bad if WWE's getting a negative reaction on that as well. So, um, why don't we just go ahead and get right into it? There's 4 matches that are going to happen. Why don't we? I know we're going to go out of order here because I want to save the Elimination Chamber matches for last. But as we mentioned earlier, one of the Royal Rumble results post match of Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, we saw Sami Zayn trying to offer companionship to both competitors, especially Kevin Owens, who took one hell of a nasty landing through the ladder. How he landed with his head right in between the steps, like he did, was kind of crazy. Um, However, it led to Kevin Owens coming out and attacking Sami Zayn post match on a Raw one night, and it's now led up to where Sami Zayn wants to get his revenge. Adam Pearce and upper management are saying, no, we're not going to let you go in there until you're cleared, and Sammy's not going to be cleared technically for a little while. However, the only way he can get his hands on Kevin Owens if it's unsanctioned. Adam Pearce is sitting here trying to give him the lowdown that, Kevin Owens can almost do anything to you and we can't hold him responsible. However, Sammy made a good case on the vice versa. Sami Zayn can do anything to Kevin Owens and, not be held accountable. Not the first time we've seen these two go at it, especially betray one another. I think this one is going to get really deep down to the nitty gritty. Why don't we get your thoughts leading into this match?
So we've seen this before out of these two. And honestly, if they're going to be doing this again, I really kind of do like the idea of seeing a repeat but further performance with them, because they had their feud back in, NXT.
Well, even in other promotions
Yeah.
outside WWE.
Yeah, and that these two do such a good job working together that I just cannot see this being a bad match. I think it's going to be exceptional. And I do think that right now is kind of a time to push Kevin Owens a little bit further.
Well, and Kevin Owens has been getting pushed pretty well.
He has.
I mean, he's had, I believe, 3 or 4 championship matches in the last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of feel a little disappointed he hasn't had another world title run. I hope he gets it within this last contract run, which I believe he just re-signed with WWE for, I want to say it's another 4 or 5 years.
I don't know how many years. I just know that he re-signed.
Yeah. So if they don't give him another world title run, I mean, I'll be a little disappointed. However, I mean, Kevin Owens also probably isn't going to be disappointed because he's getting paid well too. So, as far as who's going to win, who do you have?
Oh, I have Kevin Owens.
I'm right there with you. I think Kevin Owens ends up winning and starts getting back on the winning ways. I think, like you mentioned before, I think it's time to get him back into some singles gold here. Not tag team gold, but singles gold. However, I think somehow, somehow, we might see the return of Randy Orton. And he may end up costing Kevin Owens the match too.
Well, I mean, if that happens, I'm not going to cry about it.
So even with maybe that little bit of a throw in, you would stick with Kevin Owens still?
I would stick with Kevin Owens, yeah, because they're going to have plenty of time to throw a monkey wrench in there if they need to.
And now that I just realized that could be a possibility, I think I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to go with Sami Zayn on this one.
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
Thanks to Randy Orton coming in.
Wow, banking it on a gamble.
Yep, that's okay. I mean, that's what makes this fun, right?
Sure.
All right, so we now have a women's tag team match. I haven't really followed this story too well because it's kind of all over the place. Again, I don't have the USA Network, so I don't really know where to go with this. We have the team of Nia Jax and Candice LeRae taking on the undisputed women's champion Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. First and foremost, I think this is kind of a mistake to have Tiffany in this match. One, because really she should be focusing on her match with Charlotte Flair for WrestleMania. I just don't see the point of having her doing anything outside focusing that. Your thoughts?
I think that there could have been much better options for filling up time during the Elimination Chamber than this match. This feels like they wanted to find a way to throw Trish Stratus in to get some action just because it's going to be in Toronto.
Yeah. And they could have just done that with a singles match, to be honest.
They absolutely could have.
I mean, I just don't.
This is a way for them. I do see it as a way for them to get, Trish Stratus up there and Tiffany Stratton for Toronto, which doesn't necessarily see as many,
Yeah, well, again, I think Tiffany's main point should be, getting geared up for WrestleMania for Charlotte. I just kind of feel this is throw it together.
This is where I would actually take the opportunity to have Charlotte come in there and just absolutely mess with it.
Yeah. And who knows, she may get interfere. Shit, let's throw a wrench in. Why don't we just make it last second? She can be the special guest referee.
No.
Yeah, that wouldn't go too well. I'm sure the IWC would be pissed off at me for that one. So, but hey, let's get into.
You didn't do predictions on this match.
Oh, we didn't. As far as predictions, I have to go with Tiffany and Trish just because they're in Trish's backyard.
I hate to say it, but I have to agree.
Going with Trish and Tiffany as well.
Yeah.
It's Trishy time. All right. So now, and by the way, folks, we only have the 4 matches. There could be more added to the card as time progresses this next week. But so sorry, it's going to be a short show. But while we get to the women's elimination chamber match, we have former women's champion Bayley, former women's champion Alexa Bliss. Actually, everyone here is a former women's champion on the main roster except one. So we got Bayley versus Alexa Bliss versus Naomi versus Bianca Belair versus Liv Morgan versus Roxanne Perez. Wow. I mean, you want to talk about anybody that could go up against Rhea Ripley? Right now, I don't know. I mean, well, and keep in mind they don't necessarily need to take on Rhea Ripley either. I don't believe.
So as far as what I've
Excuse
heard,
me.
and don't quote me, but there's supposed to be 4 matches of Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan reignited in between the time.
Oh dear.
And so I see this going one of 2 ways. For me, it's either Liv Morgan or Alexa Bliss, and I'm going to go Alexa Bliss.
Yeah,
It's a hard call to make on this one.
well, I don't think. I think as long as the WWE women's tag titles are still in the picture, I can't really see Naomi and Bianca winning it because I'm sure at some point Jade Cargill's going to get right back into the storyline here.
Right, and whenever Bayley has her runs, they give her a nice run.
Yeah,
But they're few and far between.
Her last run really wasn't that awesome in my opinion, and that's kind of a bummer because I'm a big Bayley fan.
Mm-hmm.
Alexa Bliss.
You're a hugger.
Well, yeah. Hell yeah. Compared to you, I am.
Definitely.
But Alexa Bliss, it kind of comes down to Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, and Roxanne Perez.
It's too soon for Roxanne Perez, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, obviously, after her loss on NXT Vengeance Day, I think that was pretty much her farewell from NXT going to the main roster.
Yep.
But like you said, I think maybe just way too early for her to get right in that picture right away.
Mhm.
So now we got kind of the two doppelgangers, I guess you can say, in some way, Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan,
Mhm.
because of their dark sides.
Yeah, it's a hard call
It really is.
because we've waited forever just to see Alexa Bliss come back, and that's why I think it's going to go Alexa.
And I can't believe I'm going to agree with you on this one.
You got to give the people what they want.
Well, we need some fresh meat in there. Sorry, folks. We're still having some trouble with our Utah air here.
That's, you are.
Yeah, I am. Alexa Bliss, fresh meat. How many more times can we see Liv and Rhea go at it?
Like I
mean-
said, as far as I've heard, they've put 4 more shows in, but they didn't put them in any kind of a main event status.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's just working on peeling that out.
So, I think I'm going to go that route. I'm going to go with Alexa Bliss with you on that. And if any of you want to throw in your predictions that are viewing us, thank you for watching us live.
We're more than happy to have them.
Yeah, we're more than happy to get your comments in if you get them into us right away. Again, check us out on YouTube, thefansofprowrestling.com, Twitch. You can comment on any of them but Twitch. Sorry.
30-second plug.
Yeah. And let's get to the main one, the men's Elimination Chamber match. Yet I think this one's going to be another unpredictable one. We have John Cena versus CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre versus Logan Paul versus Damian Priest versus Seth freaking Rollins. Wow. If we remember last year, Logan Paul ended up costing Randy Orton the Elimination Chamber, and it ended up being a 3-way for the U.S. Championship at WrestleMania with Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. You think history could repeat itself somewhere along the line? Logan Paul gets eliminated, and then takes out CM Punk like he did at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I completely see that being the case. I think they're absolutely going to mess with each other in this. I don't think it would make any sense to have John Cena come out on top. So I would put it with, Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, or Drew. Seems like there's going to be a lot more focus towards Damian Priest as of lately. I mean, yeah, he had his run, but he's still pretty new to that top spotlight. Whereas Seth Rollins been there for a while. Drew's had his runs. He's about due for another one too, but I don't think it's time for Drew. So I'm going Damian.
I'm going to kind of play the instigator again because I can also see another situation. I know there's also been talks of having John Cena versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
There could be a possibility Cena eliminates Paul and Logan Paul costs Cena.
Yeah.
I'm with you, though. I don't see Cena winning this one. I think if Cena does end up getting number 17, I think it's going to be more toward the end of the year, more like SummerSlam.
And then I don't see 17 happening for Cena, even though he does deserve it. I think there's only one person who's ever going to break that 16 mark.
And who's that?
Another Flair.
Yeah. Yeah, this is frustrating because you could see so many different scenarios right here.
Mm-hmm.
Cena, yeah, to your point, I don't think he gets 17. I would like to see him get the Intercontinental Championship before he retires. Reason being, because that's the only championship that's, keeping him from that from the Grand Slam achievement.
So it's not just
Not,
Sheamus?
not just Sheamus. Cena's never won the Intercontinental Championship.
Ouch.
Yeah, so I would like to see that happen before winning 17. But again, I'm sure Cena will kind of show what he would prefer, and that's how it should be. If he's going to truly retire, go out the way you want to go out. But yeah, I don't see Cena or Logan Paul winning this. Seth Rollins, Drew, and Punk. They got a bit of a love triangle going right there.
Yeah, and this is why I went Damien, is because Seth, Drew, and Punk all in the same ring at the same time.
Yeah.
Er,
I think some way, somehow, they get in each other's way.
Yep.
But somehow, some way, somehow, I could see Drew somehow sneaking his way in there.
he would be my second choice.
I want to pick two. I would say it would have to be either Damian Priest or Drew McIntyre winning this.
Mhm.
And you went with Damian Priest 100%.
Yep.
I want to go with.
It's messing with you now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I'm just having brain farts because my brain's going 100 miles an hour. Where WWE might storyline this one. It could either go really well or it can be quite the fucking dumpster fire. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre winning this just because I feel Cody needs that heel character, the traditional face and heel at WrestleMania for that undisputed championship.
Now, if we were going to go for the big surprise shock win, I would say CM Punk. But
And see, if we go for the shock win, I think Logan Paul. But again, I think Logan Paul ends up with Cena at WrestleMania or CM Punk at WrestleMania. Who knows? But yeah, I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre. You're going to go with Damian Priest.
Yep.
So we got two different answers, at least out of the four there. So
but hopefully one of us is right.
yeah. And again, folks, this is only 4 matches we have listed so far. There could potentially be a fourth and a fifth, a fifth and a sixth. Probably most likely a fifth, just depending on if they can get a good storyline going. However, as far as Elimination Chamber, any surprises you think might happen?
I don't think they're going to do a whole lot of surprises right now. One thing I will say is if they were going to, let's get some exposure on Penta.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But I don't see how you would be able to work Penta in there quite yet.
I think that she could possibly work in like a United States issue.
Oh, United States title?
Yes, sir.
Problem is that's on SmackDown while he's on Raw.
Yeah.
Ron Breaker, I think, eventually is going to work a program with AJ Styles, though. So, or that could be a quick Elimination Chamber set up there, too. I just don't think they've had enough time yet to get the story going fully on that. So, that could be a surprise match coming up. Who knows?
Could be, but I think I'd rather, with it being this event, them just keeping the focus on the 4 matches they have planned.
Yeah. Well, anyways, before we get going too far, I do want to give some shout outs out there to the DWE community of the X Spaces from Miami the Great and the Final Boss Lady. Also, EVP CJ, who just recently did an interview with Fuego del Sol on the X Space last Monday. He did a really awesome job setting that up and having quite the form going there. If you haven't checked it out, go check out EVP CJ there. Go listen to that space. It was recorded, so he did a fantastic job. Fuego did a great job answering everyone's questions. Also, we are a part of the Saged Up Network. Thank you to Sage Alvarez for keeping us in his community. Also, want to give a shout out to my friends there, Fan in the Van. Jim Plotner does a great job on his podcast. Also, Two Dudes Sports News, Jalen and Garrett. Keep up the great work on those episodes. Brent and Dave over at the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. Aaron over at Brutally Honest Sports. I'm really getting ahead of myself. They visit Vegas Places with Coyle. If you ever plan to go visit Vegas, whether business or trip, he does a lot of interviews with the local businesses there in Vegas. Go check him out. Austin Boyer over at the Wrestling World on the YouTube. He does some really great video podcasts there on latest and breaking news. Be sure to go check out Ted, the Hillbilly Hill, on his YouTube channel, Ted's Takes. Don't make mistakes. Trust Ted's Takes. Does some great short videos here and there. And be sure to go like and subscribe to him over there. Again, want to give our teammates a shout out there. Carlos and Stampede at C to the LOS 77 and Stampede David ROBER 7174 there on the X app. Again, go check them out on their X Space shows, usually on Mondays after Raw and Wednesdays after Dynamite. Go check out our community on the X app as well from FOPW Network. And also, we have a group chat if you want to join. Please, we like to have a lot of fun with this. Try not to spoil it for others. Just get with me, Carlos, Brian, or Stampede on how to join that group chat. And also follow us again on X. You can follow Carlos at C to the LOS 77, Stampede at David ROBER 7174. Follow our main account, the Fans of Pro Wrestling Network, FOPW Network. Brian Ballard, who does Tap Out Talk. You can follow him at the Brian Adkins. You can follow me, John, at WFI Pod, William
at William Hoppy 8.
And again, be sure to check out our website, www.thefansofprowrestling.com. On that page, you will find our featured streams. Also, you can follow, or not follow, but check out the latest from Brian's Tap Out Talk, the latest from us, the Wrestling Fans Insight. Also, check out Carlos and Stampede's X Spaces, as well as we have a spot where we have some highlighted podcasts and YouTube channels from other wrestling content creators on the X Space there, or the X app. Also, follow our YouTube channel at Wrestling Fans Insight. Again, Brian's Tap Out Talk at Tap Out Talk. And we're also streaming live on Twitch, the Fans of Pro Wrestling. William, any final thoughts before we call it good for today?
Yeah, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. That's what it's all about.
And going forward, we will probably start airing live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time every Sunday, unless some kind of special project happens. But other than that, thank you all for tuning in. We hope to catch you again next week. And without any further ado, have a great day and enjoy wrestling, folks.